What's good, y'all? Peace to everybody watching this video. So I just want to say, thanks to all my supporters, man. So I'm gonna keep dropping gems for my family, y'all. Cause this shit will never stop, It's the grind. We grinding, y'all. It's the season, It's just like when y'all watching entertainment, football, basketball, all that shit replays. It's the grind time, you know what I'm saying? So for this video, y'all, I want to talk about how we have dimensions inside of us. You know what I'm saying? In most cases. And these dimensions are mind states or trance or like a trance that you're in, But before you can even get to a dimension, you must know what is a dimension, and that's why I'm talking to y'all about this video. So a dimension, family, is necessarily the way you are thinking and how you feel within that moment. That's what a dimension is, because a dimension is about the vibration with something. Is that it's like level, leveling up. So you went to a different dimension, levels to this shit, And it's just like if you were a fighter, you're gonna start amateur, then you're gonna work your way up to basic, then pro, then. But all I want to say is that the dimensions will open up, And you won't realize what I'm talking about unless you feel the dimension within you awakening, And this all starts at a state of naturalness. So if you are lustful, well then I'm not talking to you, because you're on that state of lust. So you can't receive a download, It's just like a motherfucker that's, playing Pac-Man. Now Pac-Man doesn't look up because he's stuck moving around the board. That's you, You're simply going home from work, then you fall in love with maybe the game. But if you like the game, why not stream the game, Try to find something to make it out for yourself. And I know that there's more to this video within just dimensions, but I'm just throwing a perfect example for you, family. For the people that are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Dimension, dimensions. Now look up the word dimensions, Dimensions, family. So pay attention, family, when you do something with your life, because you will be tested always. You know what I'm saying? So these dimensions will open up in your body, and they will open up when you are ready to receive them, They're like a download or like a glitch in the matrix for you specifically, because that's why you're receiving it, Now let's talk about downloads. I don't want y'all to get caught up in, the physical, family. So just hear the message, These dimensions, for you to access them, you would have to be at your natural state. So you would have to be practicing, semen retention. And I don't even like to say that, but that's what I call it, because I don't want to lose y'all, For the people that are trying to elevate or conquer themselves, well, you must know yourself fully. And not just to where you feel like you can hide yourself from the world, because you won't be able to, man. What's in the dark always comes to the light, man. And I'm not saying this for me, but for you, because you're the one trying to get the message, I'm just a messenger, family. So for the people watching these videos, man, salute, and I hope you can take something from it or watch it when you need to, because you can never listen enough, So for my people who are on semen retention, because then again, I don't want to just say, people who are practicing their natural state, because that's what we should be at, but people are lost, Social engineering has programmed the minds of our fellow peers. And once you realize that, you can only save yourself, man. Cause like they say, man, everybody don't want to be saved. In this world, people think they know it all. And you can't fight them people, because that's the ego that already beat them, you know? So, with that being said, family, these dimensions or these programs of information that you can only access when you are in a state of receiving, you know? So, these interdimensions, family, what a dimension is what I said earlier, family. It's the frequency and the change or pattern of the way you think. But remember, it's a dimension because only you feel this way. Not everybody else does, depending on what they are doing with their life, you know? For the people who are on your frequency, well, they know what the dimensions are because you're aware that what the fuck you're feeling is given to you, you know? Think about it. For someone to have energy, for someone that doesn't, y'all, it's gonna be a completely different ball game, you know? If you put a boxer and someone that doesn't, you know, or let's say you put two boxers in the ring. A boxer who abstains from adultery or from, you know, blasphemy, because you're blaspheming yourself, you know? Because if you think about it, y'all, you're going against your body, you know? You should never go against your body, and that's why your body gets up on you, you know? Because you're chasing pleasure. But anyway, you put one boxer who's naturally ambitious and lust free against a person, or should I say a boxer who's in a state of lust, y'all. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't matter how good you know how to fight, you're not gonna conquer that boxer if you can't even conquer yourself, man. Because you're in a state of bliss. You might have fear, and you think that the ego can help you win, you know, when reality, y'all, the ego is gonna teach you as a real meaningful lesson, you know, on why you should humble yourself. Because I've been through the fire, you know, so I'm trying to tell y'all how to rise from the ashes, man. You know, these dimensions are in me and activated, and that's why I can give you this programming, you know. But it's about what you want to program yourself, because most motherfuckers are in that lifestyle just wanting to work, you know, and that's why, you know, they're looked at as a normal individual. I'm not saying you gotta be this big star, but you want to do something for yourself so you can feel like you made it, you know. It's not about proving people wrong, it's about what you did. You want to prove yourself that you lived a good enough day, you know what I'm saying? Like think about it, y'all. If you are not doing something to make yourself happy, well, then are you really happy, you know? What is it that you are doing to make yourself feel like I enjoyed the day, you know? Even if you're watching anime, playing the game, you know, did you enjoy doing that? And if you did, well, then that you feel like you earned it, you know? But these dimensions, you know, for you to access them, you would have to be celibate, you know, because you're at your natural state. And you might ask yourself, family, okay, well, I can't, you know, I'm in a state of fighting against myself. Well, then you must learn to conquer yourself before you can come into this video and really, you know, if you want to know, take in the data. Because you can't take in new things, y'all, if you can't expand yourself, you know. And you might be thinking, what do you mean? Well, you have so much energy that wants to be stored within you, but if you're giving it away, family, well, then that just tells you what kind of a person you are, you know. So you lost, you know. So I'm trying to tell you, you want to be quiet and you want to actually do. But yeah, family, I'm gonna let that sink in your minds for a second, you know, before I go any further. Okay. Now, let's just say for a person who's lust free, stays to themselves and is quiet, silent, you know, well then you know yourself. So you're not in a war with yourself because you come to the term to love you. You must love you before you can love anybody. But yeah, family, protect your mind and you will have peace, man. It's kind of hard to put if you don't, practice yourself, man. Self-mastery is important. Because if you don't practice self-mastery, family, well then you are somebody else's master, man. You gotta swallow that pill to accept what it is you've been living your whole life, to break out of that cycle. Because I had to do the same thing, you know? But yeah, family, the dimensions are like a key. So think of it as a doorway that is access denied, but you need this key card and to slide it through, then you are granted to enter that room. Well, that's like the dimensions, you know? If you don't know who you are, well then they're blocked off from you because one, you're not aware of them, and two, you haven't let your body heal itself naturally to the point where it wants to gain all that information because you're too busy letting shit out, you know? And that's why you get sick. And that's why you think arguing is the end all to it. That's a female trait, man, you know? But these dimensions, y'all, after day 90 or even day 85, depending if you smoke, y'all, because if you smoke, you're aware, man. Your third eye is enhancing daily. If you do that, you will know what I'm talking about, you know? But yeah, family, you gotta be aware, man. Because to be aware is to be alive. And if you ain't aware, family, well then you are lost in the world, you know? So, y'all keep that in mind, you know? For the people that are taking this message, man, if you have a goal trying to achieve that goal, I'm gonna tell you right now, are you doing something to get there? Or are you sitting your ass down, you know? You don't worry about what anyone says, you just go get up and do it. So, that's really what I wanted to get on, family. But yeah, family, you know, these dimensions, you're not gonna just get them like if, you used to feel like you deserved it. No. Your mind has to be not even on women, if that's what you are trying to gain, you know? Most people, they want women attraction or they seek validation. You must break that state to enter a new state, you know? You want to become pure, holy, godlike, Christ-like, you know? Man, I just can't put it into words, family, because words are limited. You know, you can hear or feel a word, but it's about the person speaking the words, you know? You gotta have energy behind those lyrics. And for you to really fathom what I'm saying, man, you will have to go on this self-development journey, you know? Women are gonna be here always. And the one that's for you, you should just let that come, because you don't ever want to give yourself away for free, man. You're really, killing yourself slowly. But now, on to the next subject of this video. What do the dimensions do for you? Why am I telling you? Because, family, these dimensions give you a state of awareness to the point where everything you do is with purpose. You question your existence, and more so you question your things that you do in your life. So for a motherfucker that's aware, if he's smoking and it's not benefiting them, then he ain't gonna smoke no more, because it's holding them back. That's a download that most people can't even conquer because they're slaves to everything. People who drink and depend on it, they're slaves to the outside source. But you must know that the kingdom of God is within you, and if that's a scripture, so you should really focus and pay attention. Other than that, family, you want to learn how to flow. If something ain't going your way, it's because it wasn't meant to go your way. It's probably because you were to learn a life lesson. A life lesson, family. In this world, people are so neediness, and they only care about one thing: what you can do for them. So you don't want to be like that. You want to make sure that what you attract is the same way you feel about yourself, how they should, because life is gonna humble you on this journey. The best part about this journey is that, like they say, man, a person that really loves himself and that stays dedicated toward development, even if you're a female and you want to be celibate, man, that's fine. You will find yourself, and the whole nature that you implanted into your life that you wasn't aware of, you're gonna have more control over that side of you, because you're gonna realize how fucked up the Matrix has programmed your subconscious mind to be, to why you feel like you gotta have validation. Women don't really want validation, y'all. It's just that ego that has a grip onto most of these women. They are lost, and the ego is what craves that intensity. I tell y'all, family, it's not even about the validation. It's about her ego. The goal is to date a girl who knows how to control the ego and maybe break away from it. Because on this journey, y'all, what most people ain't gonna tell you is that you detach from the Matrix, and you might as well detach if you are a female too, depending on what day and if you're really taking this shit serious. What breaks you away from this realm is meditation, and meditation is the end all to it, because that's what gives you everything you want in the Matrix. Because everything outside of you is something that you want to hold on to, but it's temporarily. Your soul is forever, and that's what craves that it's experience, man. That's why you love living, because it's an experience for you to learn. It teaches your soul how to become a wiser person. So, remember, family, these dimensions will help you protect your fucking life one day, because the people that are vibing low and maybe they would want to kill someone, but they see you, they're going to simply get out of your way, or they might, want to be around you because you make them feel a way that they never felt before, because what you are, you will give to other people, man. So accept that's your power, man, to change the world, instead of making this shit more negativity than what it is. You want to be a person who's gonna uplift people and not drag them down, and that's why most people are in this competition today, because they can't accept that another motherfucker is successful. you know? In this world, you will get your ass humbled real quick, man. And I'm not saying, you know, by someone like me who's trying to tell you the hard truths about the world, but someone who has already been through that stage and just trying to tell you, like, man, I agree. I used to be a motherfucker that wanted to fight you, you know? But now I don't want to fight. Because you just want to explore and expand your mind. It's hard to put it into words, family, because people just want things, you know? Or they want to drain you. You don't want to be drained. You want to live freely. You want to feel free. You know, you want to be able to move light on your feet, man. If you feel heavy, well then, you know, that lets you know that you're at a low state. Because you're more so on the flesh stages of this world, you know. To implement your highest ability is to become light as a bird, man. You want to be like water, man, you know. That's why, you know, I really admire how Bruce Lee was teaching, and even the way, you know, he was showing people the way of fighting, man. Because it's a state of humbleness to yourself, man, you know. And people ain't ready to face themselves, man. If they was, a lot of people wouldn't be so fucking negative, you know. But this is the world we live in, family. So you have to accept it. Because this world is only what you make it, man. You know? But like they say, man, the dimensions will open up if you go with over 90 days of implementing the energy that was meant for you to get, man. If you can conquer yourself, then lust will be your best friend, man. You know what I'm saying? That's when the dimensions will open up to you. And if you want to open the dimensions faster, well, then you will have to seek meditation, because then you are forcing your mind to become one with your thoughts, man. And your thoughts are something that flow when even you can't cut them off, because say you are in a state of happiness, well then you think, well say you scroll it in on social media after you're happy and you see something lustful, now you are in that state of lustfulness because you let those thoughts control you. Well, meditation teaches you how to conquer that and simply remind yourself that you are not those thoughts, but the divine internal being that you are simply here to be put on to create new, you know, ideas, creative patterns. You were just meant to implant different things. That's what you want to do, family. That's what you want to be. And if you can do that, well then you are a motherfucker of God, you know. So that's all I gotta say, man. Have no fear, and you will win. I promise you, you know. So I hope this message has impacted you, you know, or inspired your mind. Because life is only gonna change when you change it, family, you know? You're gonna have to accept that truth. And if you can't accept it, well then, life defeated you without laying a muscle on you. It's just the control. If they can beat your mind, well then you ain't gonna want to move your physical body because you feel like you can't get nowhere, you know. And that's how they want you to be. That's why I say, family, you gotta do this shit like you love it. Fall in love with the passion of what it is you love, man. And I promise you, you will come back to this video and be like, damn, you was teaching us that real. But yeah, family, I love every single one of my supporters, man. Every single one of y'all. Anybody who's tuning in, whether it be extraterrestrial beings from different realms of the world. Maybe you're on a different planet watching me. Maybe you might be deceased, but you're watching me on the other side. That's to the point where your mind is expanded to where you know there's other lives outside of yourself because you feel so fucking alive. You know, you're not dead no more on that physical state to where you have these emotions. You know, you are like a natural. You know, once you take on this journey, y'all, you live with a natural high. You know, my face is glowing for the reason. And, you know, this is for me to help y'all glow because I want y'all to, you know, vibrate high and live your best life, man, with the best woman. You don't want no female who's gonna force you to fuck her to the point where you are seedless. No, you want to be able to fuck with your seed inside of you, man, because that's a man of dominance. That's a man who knows of awareness, you know, family. But that's all I really wanted to talk about, family. In this video, remember these dimensions are mind states, and if you get high, well, you will feel your third eye opening, and it's to the point where you're gonna feel lost, and it's like you're not looking at these two but you're stuck on what it is you are seeing in your mind. That's your third eye seeping out of your body to the point where you're over your mind, and it's like you're a third person point of view just watching your body. And when you get to that state, you will realize what I'm talking about, you know, and how your chakras and all of them are slowly rising, and they're all active, you know. But if you resonated and you've been like this, well, drop 100 in the comments, man. And remember, if you are celibate regardless, you will get that female attraction. For the people in the back wondering if you will, yes. But a female doesn't look for a man. That's all about them. You got to be about you. She wants to be able to fall in love with you, but you got to be able to fall in love with you first, because you want to be able to live without her, just as if she was to, you know, come in your life and leave. You want to be able to live without her also, you know, because you got to remember, y'all, everybody has a magnet. Most people have magnets in them, and that's where they pull you towards them, and that's why you feel. You got to learn to cut ties, you know, work on that solar plexus, you know, look up the mudras for the different chakras in you, you know, or go watch the show Avatar, man. It'll help you. But yeah, family, I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next video, man. You know what I'm saying? And before I sign out, yes, I'm gonna show my face because you want to be able to see the person that is a teacher, man, just in case the teacher's no longer ever here, you know. Remember, the messenger can be killed, and when I say killed, body goes back to the soil, but your soul, your mind, and your conscious, which is your spirit, will forever live on. You know what I'm saying? Like D-Baby said, forever live on, and you will become an ancestor like the people that put you here in the first place, to watch over others and to guide them in spiritual realms, you know. But other than that, family, peace, and I love all y'all. See y'all.